Likkutei Torah Balak, page 146, first column, about 10 lines from the end of the page. Okay, now the Rebbe is explaining there's 3 levels of tshuva. He only explained one meanwhile. One level of tshuva is sur meirah because he realizes that the only thing that separates the Jew from Hashem is our Vedas, and therefore the level of tshuva is to reconnect, because you disconnected through Avedas, so now you reconnect. And he says that's the level. The last thing is explaining of Yaakov Chava Nechalosei. When a Jew goes down, he drags Hashem down together with him. So he said, "V'zeh Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu." That's the concept of Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu. Sha'az a mavdil bein ha'adam uvein Elokeinu. Therefore, it becomes again Elokeinu, that it's connected to us. V'ayim b'geis tshuva. That's v'nakim and akol ishavim. That Hashem cleanses the returners. Okay, so this is the first level of tshuva that he calls sur meirah. He says, "Vatshuva shein" is the second level of tshuva. It's tshuva b'chinas v'asei teif. It's the second level of doing good. What does it mean doing good? Afal pishu sur meirah b'tachlis, even though a person taka doesn't sin, they don't do. By the way, I just wanted to say something. Yesterday we were talking about worldly taivas and enjoying and all that. When Rabbi the Masmid, he's a very big chassid of the Rebbe Rashab, the Friedrich Rebbe, he came to America. And this guy was called the Beinani of Tanya. That's what he was known as, the Beinani of Tanya. So he came to America. He wrote back a letter home to Europe, either to Rabbi Chassidus or to Rabbi Jacobson, and he writes, "You hear how low the Jews in America fell." He says, "Can you imagine that they eat bread and butter, but they smear the butter on the bread?" Because in Russia they would eat bread, they would eat butter. He says, how low? And he was shocked that the American Jews fell so low that they would smear the butter on the bread. He said, how they become so vergrept, so coarse, things like that. Anyway.
What, in Russia
they ate bread and they ate butter. Yeah.
They didn't smear it.
No.
Why not?
He said, look how low they became. They have to smear it. They think, why, it tastes better like that? I mean, you're not going to get it.
No.
I know you're not going to get it. Huh? Yeah, minagamokim, yeah. What? No, nothing. When they got, everybody knows it's a video already, and they got the new car for the Rebbe, because the old car was an old car already, it was many years old. And they got this a new Cadillac, which made it easier for the Rebbe to bend. It was hard for him to get into a car. So they made a better car. The Rebbe came out, everybody, I wasn't there, I was here already, but there's a video of it. The Rebbe came out in 770, everybody's watching, how's the Rebbe going to react to the new car? The Rebbe came out, you see clearly on the video. And the Rebbe comes out, he says, he sees a new car, he says, where's the other car? Where's the other car? So he said, no, there's a new one. I said, yeah, what's wrong with the old one? He refused. The Rebbe waited a few minutes until they brought back the old car. And the Rebbe never went into that new car. He said, they have a car, it works. What do you mean, a new car? Anyway, so he says, that's the level of Asay Teif. So he says, he could be sur meirah betachos. Ashumamai b'mitzvahs Asay Teif, but he doesn't. He limits the positive mitzvah of Asay Teif, the Yageyes Atzim b'Teira Tefillah, to make a diligent effort in Teira and Tefillah. That's the level of Atzlus laziness. That's why we learned already. There's a Gehenim of Shelag and there's a Gehenim of Eish. Gehenim of Eish, this is the Gemara Medrash speaks about. There's a fiery Gehenim and a snow Gehenim. The fiery Gehenim is to clean the dirt. And this cold Gehenim is to wake you up from laziness. You don't want to get up in the morning, you jump into a cold pool, you wake up. Shaydei Gehenim is talkas hateva elyon shoy yisod. That causes the leaving of yisod kedusha. So he said the first level of tshuva is sur meirah. The second level of tshuva, because that separates the Jew from Hashem. The second level is asay teif. He says And va'inyin k'meshakos amru tzaddik ki tev. He said to the tzaddik that is good. What does that mean? Ki mi the tzaddik who is kashrus is chaber some shachim b'chinas sevu kol almin. The level of tzaddik is doing mitzvahs, meaning bringing down, binding and connecting to Hashem, bringing down Elokus in the world. Liasnim shechomer beprimius, in the level of mamali kol almin, which is called yichud kushabrichu shchintei. Like we learned, what's the purpose of a mitzvah? To have the unity between Kadosh Baruch Hu and Shechina, between Zoh and Malchus. Normally, it's like male and female together cannot reproduce, separately, cannot reproduce. You put male and female together, you could reproduce. You have levels of Elokus, that's Zoh, the 6 spheres. You have Malchus, the normal routine of things, nothing happens. So when you unite Zoh and Malchus, you bring down a greater level of Kedusha. Okay, this level of doing good, breaking their nature, is what's explained in Tanya Perek Tezvav. Shumiloshin Eres Habudim. It's an expression. Oived comes to the word tanning. Ma'abed, Oived, Aveda, it comes to the word ma'abed, which is tanning hide. Just like you tan hides, meaning you take something coarse and you make something refined out of it. He fixes, that's the stage 2 of tshuva. First stage of tshuva is you make sure there's no separation. Now that there is Elokus revealed through the level of Tzimtzum Elokim, he refines it to fight with his nature. V'hayates and the Yitzhahara to break the nature. So therefore, what is the second level of tshuva? Which applies, by the way, even to a tzaddik. That is refining the tzimtzum of the world to show that it's not really a tzimtzum. It's not really a concealment of Hashem.
It's either positive or negative, either...
No, negative, staying away from things that separate us from Hashem. But now you have doing good. What does that mean? Taking the Elokus that comes into the world, but it's limited, and to reveal the real level of Kedusha that's in it, the unconcealed level. You know, it's basically not the negative of it is create a covering. Here, he took off the covering already. But now in the good, there's still a limitation, and you want to take that off. Okay, in Shila Vavaya. It's the Shemesh Mogen Havaya Lakim, Shaliyasted Mogen Vanartik, that the Mogen of the sun, Elokim, doesn't conceal Havaya, Umamtik and Gvorus Bichsodim, and he sweetens the Gvorus with Chesed, which is the primary level of Yichud, of unity. Lochein, when a person doesn't do good properly, he causes the din, meaning it's all within good, but he's causing a covering of Elokus rather than the revelation of Elokus. Not evil covering, not evil that's concealing the good, sir. Not even the evil that conceals the good, but within good itself, there's still Elokim. The Avodah is to remove the Elokim and take off the covering of the sun and make the sun revealed. To the unity that the tzaddik does, which is Hamshach Sachsodim, revealing Chesed, which is Giliyah and Tabaruch Sefer Kolam B'Mamal Kolam, revealing the infinite in the finite. Gedan his kabras to Mamal Kolam. Mumutakim, it becomes sweetness, also that level. In other words, like this. The second level of tshuva, he said before that in order for Elokim, in order for godliness to be revealed in the world, you can't have infinite God reveal itself in a finite world. Okay, so therefore it has to go through Elokim. So the prayer, through mitzvahs, you bring down godliness in the world. But what level of godliness do you bring in the world? Through Elokim. The Avodah is Oved Elokim you ma'abed the level of Elokim, meaning you tan and purify the level of Elokim, that now you have the Gilui of Havaya, not Elokim. So the Aveda, the second level of tshuva, is not for sins. You don't do any sins. But you do mitzvahs. But it's not breaking your nature, like it says, Eved Elokim. You know, you learn it 100 times, you're called not serving Hashem. Yeah? You're learning, you're doing good. But you're not breaking your nature. You're not breaking your nature, it's still not revealing the infinite level of Elokus. Why? Because we learned many times. A person, no matter what they do, is limited. Even when you do good, you learn 100 times, that's limited. So therefore you can't reach it's not Yitzias Mitzrayim, you're still in Mitzrayim. It's a very lofty Mitzrayim, it's 100 times learning. But you're still in limitation. You want to break the limitation, you want to go out of Mitzrayim to reach the infinite. The only way a finite human being could reach the infinite God is by us going out of our limitations, so to speak. Even though 101 is also limitations. But relatively speaking, breaking your nature is going out of your limitations. And therefore, if breaking your nature is going out of limitations, then you reveal the infinite level of Elokus. That's the second level of tshuva.
The infinite level of Elokus doesn't exist in the finite level of Elokus?
Again, Elokus is only hidden and revealed. It's not existing and unexisting.
Infinite level of Hashem.
Our Avodah, Hashem's all over. Our Avodah is to reveal Him. How do you reveal Him? Not by doing negative commandments, not by not transgressing negative commandments, because then you're only passive. When a person does mitzvahs, and here the Alter Rebbe explains the level of tshuva in the Asay Teiv means that you break your nature to reveal the infinite level of Hashem within the finite confines. Within the finite levels, you reveal infinite God. Simcha, yeah, here he's not speaking about simcha yet. But yeah, it has to be done through simcha, because the only way you can break your barriers is through your simcha.
Therefore, you have to enjoy His creation.
No. Enjoy Torah mitzvahs. Again,
Hashem gave me an estate to eat.
a steak
A steak.
is better than his
There's
chocolate
steak.
cake at
I
least.
put a steak in front of me.
Yeah.
I say a bracha.
Mm.
And I enjoy it. He wants me to enjoy it.
How do you know he wants you to enjoy it?
Because He created it.
Right.
Maybe he created it that you should be able to make a bracha and say, this is healthy food that's going to make me serve Hashem better.
Oh, maybe this, maybe that.
But that's what it says in Torah. Like we said yesterday, you can eat chocolate cake for his, 7-layer cake, Mela, but there's a chocolate cake for him and steak for you, okay. The question is, yes, I'm enjoying it. We're not on the level of not enjoying it. We're smearing the butter on the bread, okay? But the question is our primary goal of eating the steak to be able to be healthy to serve Hashem, or is it because it tastes good?
To serve Hashem.
You're saying you're enjoying it.
And I have to enjoy it.
Why do you have to enjoy it?
Why not?
If you eat something you don't like, that's healthy,
He's saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu created it. The reason that created it is because you should enjoy it. That's what he's saying.
maybe the enjoyment aspect of it is the test of why we're eating it. Are we eating it because we're guzzlers and fressers and all that? Or are we eating it? That's our choice.
What happened to the guy who put the paper in front of Samach Seder? And Samach Seder did not take it. And when he went outside and started drinking, being happy, dancing.
I don't know what story you're talking about.
Okay, and he came back and Samach Seder took it because he said, now you brought the joy. When you brought the joy, you broke a barrier and connection.
He broke the
because
barrier by getting a little bit tipsy.
Tipsy by enjoying the drink.
Who said he enjoyed the drink? He got tipsy.
If anything, he forgot about himself. That was the benefit.
Hashem tests right? Everything Gashmis is a test. So sometimes we have a test between keeping Shabbos, not keeping Shabbos, eating kosher, not eating kosher. Those are tests, yeah? Or whatever it may be. Then there's a more refined test. It's kosher, it's glatt kosher, God shechted it. Hashem himself shechted it. Can you imagine? Nevertheless, the people eat the Levyasim because they didn't trust Hashem's shechita. Okay? Hashem shechts it, is holy. There's another test. Why are we eating the food? Are we eating it to live, or are we eating it because we enjoy it? It's a more refined level. But this is Chassidus. Chassidus is speaking refined levels of a person. Halavai, a person that eats only treif and now eats only kosher and enjoys it, halavai. For him, that's a very, very great level. He's eating kosher instead of treif. But a person who is more from and learns Chassidus, so then ideally, you're not eating it because I enjoy it. I'm eating because I'm eating. If somebody would give me another thing to eat, I'd eat that too.
But Hashem put enjoyment within me, so I should say.
Because it says in Chassidus it says, if Hashem made very strong temptations of eating and sexual issues. Because if Hashem didn't make taivas and food, nobody would eat. If we wouldn't enjoy food, people wouldn't eat. Then all those parts of Kedusha that we need to elevate, we wouldn't elevate. If people wouldn't have desire, they wouldn't get married and have kids. But the question is, how are we utilizing those taivas, that enjoyment? Am I eating it because I'm eating it really good? Or I'm eating it because I'm eating it, so it tastes good. It doesn't mean I have to eat something I hate. It tastes good, but that's not what I'm into. It's not Kabbalah. Come on, everybody understands what I'm talking about.
You should eat it just like the way you take medication.
Correct. Correct.
It's like medicine.
Correct. Because Alter Rebbe says when you eat it l'shem taiva, you lower the food into shlosh kibsat tameis. And even because it was kosher, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, right? Perek Zayin Neches. Even though it was, but because it was kosher, it's easy to re-elevate. But you still need chiber hakaver, kafakela. You still need those things.
Are we discounting the beauty and pleasure of good food that God provided for us to really appreciate His wondrous creation?
Let's not fool ourselves. The worst thing a person can do, according to Chassidus, is fool yourself. Either that you're better than you are, or that you're worse than you are. That is the criminal sin in the Chassidus. That you fool yourself, you think you're better or greater than you are, or you think you're lower than what you are. You have to know emes. Emes is to know who you really are, okay? The emes is we should know why we're eating it, that's all.
It's a beautiful creation of God.
I understand. Do you see the godliness? But are you seeing the godliness in it, or are you seeing the enjoyment? I'm answering you. I know, people don't get
what
this.
opened the heaven, the kukuli kuku. The guy is a simple. He doesn't look at, am I eating it for... Hashem loves simplicity. Hashem's love, open-hearted.
Let's use the word fressing. Okay, let's use that word. It's a very simple Yiddish word that displays it clearly. Hashem doesn't enjoy fressing because then you're eating like an animal. Animals eat food, a person eats food. Enjoying eating and drinking, it says all over Chassidus, Moses Svarim, anywhere you want, is an animalistic desire and temptation. Eating and sleeping is an animalistic desire and temptation. A person's desires, enjoyment, should be in higher things than animalistic things. Music, doing somebody a favor, intellectual enjoyment.
Even that though, I'm enjoying music, I'm freshing in music, is that such a...
No, enjoying music, it's a much more refined enjoyment than eating.
It's more refined, but it's still not like...
And Ochanami, therefore the ultimate in Lemandas, in Contrasins, and I'm been discussing the various different taivas. Kuntas Samayan talks about all the taivas. So you have the lowest level, It's going from lower to higher. So the lowest level of enjoyment is animalistic stuff, eating and drinking. Then it goes more to music. Then it goes more to doing somebody a favor. Then it goes more to enjoying intellectual things. Ultimately, the enjoyment of a Jew has to be in godliness.
So how come for the high levels there is not a bracha for the low? Oh, because it's the lowest level.
The lowest level needs to be elevated. The highest level is already elevated. By the way, that's not true, by the way. There is a bracha. Enjoyment of God is when we do a mitzvah, we make a bracha.
When you listen to music, you don't say bracha.
No, I'm saying the ultimate enjoyment is elokus. I enjoy being connected to Hashem. Then you make a bracha tak.
Who created animalistic desires?
Hashem is a test to us.
As a test?
Challenge.
Yeah, challenge, better
The
word.
relation between a man and woman.
Challenges.
Is it animalistic desire? Or
You want to be tactile. Shulchan Aruch, it says you have relations like a demon forced you, but we're not talking. We're not on that level. We're talking on levels of a person thinking about God, primary and secondary. He said yesterday, you could enjoy the stuff, but is that the primary eating reason or is the secondary eating reason? And that's where it's clear what it is. I mean, look, come on, let's not fool ourselves.
this takes happiness
Out of life.
out of life.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Rabbi did. He took away the Taivas of Elam Hazard from thousands of Chassidim.
You can be happy with that as well.
If the enjoyment is from godliness, you can be happy. If there's Hashem b'simcha. Connecting, if there's Hashem, connecting, being Hashem's eved, that's the simcha. That's the ultimate simcha.
So you should be happy with the state, but not because of the godliness, but because of godliness.
Yeah. Tzaddik eichel, the pasuk says, Tzaddik eichel l'seva nafshi. A tzaddik eats to fill his soul.
So what is real simcha?
Ultimate simcha is if there's Hashem b'simcha.
All right, so tzaddik.
What's the ultimate freedom?
Torah.
It's the most restricted religion of any religion.
But Torah also teaches me to enjoy.
It's the way of
Torah doesn't teach you to enjoy yourself. Where does it say in Torah you have to enjoy yourself?
When you see a flower, look at the flower, smell
You see,
it,
Marabu Masacha Hashem. When you're eating the piece of steak, you're not saying, oh, Marabu Masacha Hashem. Trust me.
Oh, you said tzaddikim, they eat to satiate their neshama.
Nefesh, right.
So the physical part is the more animalistic, is the nutrient of the food. But the soul side is the flavor and the beauty of it. So if one really enjoys the food, not like an animal, but really enjoys the flavor and the beauty and the smell, aroma, he essentially feeding his neshama.
No, he doesn't. No, that's feeling your goof.
Pardon?
Feeling the neshama, filling the neshama, saturating the neshama means you're eating because now I can serve Hashem better. The Gemara tells a story. They asked Rav Nachman a shaila at night. He didn't answer. He didn't know. In the morning, he met the guy, and he answered him the question. He said, "The reason I didn't answer you at night was because liachla bisra Torah. I didn't have meat, and my brain wasn't working. He ate the meat in order to learn Torah better." When one minute, Alter Rebbe quotes in Tanya, "Amirav v'chamer v'reicha bikchem." Right? When Alter Rebbe in Perek Vav Zayin Ches, those psukim, Zayin Ches. So he says, "Chamer v'reicha bikchem" means wine and a good smell makes you smart. So in other words, the good wine, you're not eating it, drinking it, because we're talking ideally now. We're not talking on our level. But one thing is certain, we shouldn't fool ourselves to think we're on this lofty level of eating mamish, like, that's the main thing. Yeah, we're, of course, low lives. We are all.
that's the goal.
That's the goal. At least know what you're supposed to be doing.
But there is value in this aroma, enjoyment of the aroma and the...
No, only if the aroma is used to make yourself be serving Hashem better. Nobody, when they eat a steak or ice cream or chocolate cake or whatever you want, nobody, I mean, rarely do you find a person, I'm eating it, and this is between them and God, no falseness. They're eating it to be healthy, to serve Hashem better.
One can enjoy it and say, Ma Rabbi Ma'asecha, how beautiful it is, it's so delicious. It's not, it's elevating, and one can just consume it like an animal.
Okay, come on. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not fool ourselves. Somebody's eating it. They're eating the steak. They're really pressing it like a chazan, and they say no, and they're saying, "Oh wow, God, look how beautiful you made the chazan. I really enjoy it."
Chazan is one that eats it just for its nutrient value. The refined person, godly one, enjoys it because it's beyond
Refined people, by the way, just for the record,
What?
refined people are not into eating and drinking. They don't talk in the elevators where they're going to eat and what they ate and what they They don't. Refined people don't. That's the bottom line.
No, it's so
Refined people are more into intellectual things or helping people or things like that. That's what they're
The
into.
refined person, when he eats something that is so aromatic and so delicious, he doesn't make a comment. He just eats like an animal.
No, he could say it tastes good, yes. But is that the primary or the secondary? What's it so simple to understand?
Now the story of the soup makes sense.
The salt.
Without the Rebbe, with the salt.
All the salt.
Yeah.
I said, bring me more, bring me. I said, how can you eat it?
Without the Rebbe says, I learned that you're right.
Since my childhood, I don't taste it.
Correct.
That's better.
And therefore, when the Rebbe stopped after the heart attack, but when the Rebbe had very interesting, when he would take a piece of fish and put a layer of salt on it. So one very intelligent person said to the Rebbe, why are you putting so much salt on it? So, you know, the Rebbe answered him, he smiled and said, it tastes better. That's what the Rebbe meant. You ask a stupid question, you're going to get a foolish answer. It tastes better.
So you put the salt not to enjoy it.
Obviously, by tzaddikim, again, we don't understand what it means, but they eat, it's a different eating. They eat for the nefesh. There's a pasuk, we say, it's in Tillim, we say it every Friday in Haidu, before Haidu and Paschalio. Re'evim gam tzemeim, they're hungry, they're thirsty. Nafshem bem tesatov, the neshama is clothed in them. Clothed, C-L-O-T-H, clothed. So the Friedrich Rebbe explains in the Maimer, why is the person hungry and thirsty? Because Nafshem, the neshama, wants to elevate the sparks. Now, you could take that same thing and eat it fresh, and now the Rebbe says in Tanya, then you lower the food into Shalosh Kibtzat Tameis.
Did the Rebbe have tea with his wife every day, 30 minutes? Did he enjoy it, or did he do it for?
He did it because Torah says you have to have Shalom Bayis and spend time with the wife.
I feel like this approach makes a person very serious. They can't enjoy and be smiling and happy.
Why can't a person smile? On the contrary, those Siddim that weren't into food were very happy people. Yeah.
The smile is not good.
Huh?
The smile is not good.
Which smile?
Having a smile is not good.
It's very good.
Rabbi, we have to express our appreciation and joy of everything God created, including
Yes.
beautiful mountains, beautiful food, beautiful experiences. So one that
Yeah, but what does it say in Pirkei Avos? Ahilach b'derech v'sheino mafsik mishnasei v'eimem manoi ilun za manoi nir za reza ma'alav ha'kosim kilim eschayim b'nafshik. It's a mission Pirkei Avos. Somebody is traveling and they're learning and he says, wow, look how beautiful this tree is. Look how beautiful this plowed field is. You say Marabba, he's learning. You don't say Marabba Masach Hashem because learning is more important.
okay, but and when you don't learn and you're eating already, you're sitting and eating, why don't you fully appreciate it?
Okay, you know what? It's a lost battle, so you could.
Thank you, Rabbi.